Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Dirtbag Shit Podcast. I am your friend, Sergio Chicon. I am excited as I embark on this new journey of podcasting. A lot of friends and family have been asking me to do it, but most importantly, I felt the need to do it because I need a creative outlet and I'm not getting enough stage time, so I need to do something. And this is it. I'm doing it in my crib too, real gorilla style. Yo, by the way, that's not real brick, my friend. That's veneer. That's not real brick. But it's foolish, right? Just like this tooth ain't real. This tooth is fake. Broke it when I was riding on bicycles, running away from the cops in 1997. Yep. I left the Coliseum Trail all through Washington Square Park. All right, that's enough about me. I will indulge in my bullshit a little later. I have a very, very, very special guest today. My man Chris. Clap it up for Chris Huot. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
You are
Here, let's put that right there.
You are pronouncing it correctly.
Dope.
I appreciate you for getting it right.
Yeah, so for my listeners, for the beautiful people out there, I invited Chris Huot out for a number of different reasons. First of all, we share some similarities as far as the way we used to get down back in the days. But also, we're talking about new beginnings, right? Like, I'm interested and start something new. And your story was very intriguing to me because when I first met you, it was at a gym at the Monterey. You remember that, right?
Yes, I do.
And I'm gonna have you explain where you were at in your life, right? So it was a new beginning for you. Tell the people, talk to the people. Where were you when I met you 8 years ago? And it was at the Monterey gym. It was a gym.
Was it 8 years ago?
I might be too generous at the time. Was it shorter?
It was a little bit shorter. I think it was about.
Talking to the mic, Pop. I'm acting like I know what I'm talking about.
Listen. I'm trying. All right. Yeah. Listen. All right. So let me talk into the mic. Yeah. So whenever it was definitely a new day in my life. I was living on the floor in my mom's crib. On an air mattress next to my son's bed.
Real quick, and hold that. I just remember, just so the energy that is exchanged. I was working at this gym, right? I was a personal trainer at this gym, the Monterey. Dope ass gym in a residential building. And me and Chris stood out because we're like the only dudes out there, boy heads, tattoos, and there's a lot of uppity West Side, what is it? West Side?
Upper East Side, yeah.
You know, uppity East Siders out there. And this is the type of people where, you know, you see a white kid with a Jamaican nanny type shit, right? It's that type of neighborhood.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And it's like, so I saw Chris in there, and I was like, yo, this dude is... There's a certain energy. I just knew it was different. And I remember talking to you about working out, and it was interesting because you were like lifting heavy, and I was like, this fucking guy. But I just remember that, and you had told me your story, so that's what I want you to pick up. So we started talking, and what was around that time?
Around that time. I mean, I just had a complete psychic change, and I mean, the story. I don't know how we're gonna get into this.
The fact of the matter is, you did. You just came home. Was it that you just got home?
What the fuck? Yo.
Get to the point. Land the plane.
Yeah, damn. I'm a little slow with it, but I'm gonna try and pick it up for you.
I'm a little faster. Like I did some blow.
I just was recently home. Yeah, and I needed an outlet.
Yeah.
I needed to be in the gym. And my mom had been living in that building for years. She got in there like on a lottery when that building first went up, and she had my son. She was raising my son, and she had my son since he was about 2.5, and at this time my son was about 11.
Yeah.
And I had just recently came home, and I was trying to do things. I was doing things differently. And one of the things that I needed was some exercise. And there was a chick running the gym named Shirley, and Shirley used to let me pay her under the table to use the gym.
Yo, Shirley's spot's getting blown up. Yo, BX, stand up. My man Chris, the producer's from the BX. You probably used to bang Shirley. Yo, it's a small community of people.
Yeah.
Yo, check this out. But I do remember vividly, and I'm not sure if you remember this far back, but I do remember like getting an immediate like good energy from you. You know what it was? Because I knew you just came home. And look, for my white audience members, because motherfuckers don't know what come home means. He was in prison. He did a dime. That's 10 years in the Bing. Whether or not you want to talk about your activities beforehand, I would love to hear about it, but that's on you, Pop. You know what I'm saying? So he just comes home and we start talking. And I remember we were talking about working out, and then it was like, you know, your son, like I started training your son for a little bit, doing some boxing with him.
Yeah. Once I saw you like training some people, you know, I said, this guy's approachable. I felt the same energy from you.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what's
we were
up.
the only people in that gym that looked the way we looked.
Right.
You know, regardless to what we look like, what's inside of us is what really matters, blah, 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 and all that, right?
And we look fine, but it was different
we look okay
in comparison to that gym.
Yeah, we didn't look like the ladies you were training.
Right.
My son,
Miss Rosenthal from the third floor, who had a pet fucking cockatiel or cockatoo, not cockatiels, because you know cockatiels are only $75. Cockatoos are $2,000. That was definitely $2,000 money going on in that gym. So anyway, you started working out to alleviate some of the stress from getting home. I can only imagine you get home after doing this time. When I met you, how long were you home?
Oh, I
6 hours?
No. I was home for a couple of months because I actually
fresh out the bed.
No. I was living for a little while in a 3-quarter house in Bed-Stuy with a bunch of other guys.
That shit can't be easy.
Who weren't doing what I was doing, and it was bed bugs and shit like that. Ooh. And my mom had some compassion, you know, which was very hard for me as well, because at the time I was like, what? Already 42. Yeah. And I was like, I really don't want to move into my mom's crib and sleep on the floor next to my son. However, the flip side of that coin is, how bad do I want to live in my mom's crib with my son? Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's all about perspective and shifting the way we look at stuff.
Absolutely, and that's a gem right there. It is perspective, and like sacrificing a little bit. It's not gonna, they're gonna get it all. You gotta like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
So if we get into it, and for, you know, I would say right off the bat, you know, me and Chris, like once again, one of the reasons why I have him as my first guest, because when I look at Chris, I think of a new beginning, and like, holy shit, it was inspiring, because I knew he had been through some shit and he was able to pull it together. And here we are. I want to be generous, for 8 years. It probably wasn't that long, but let's say 5 years, 6 years.
No, it was somewhere between 6 and 7.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know, I see you recently, and you look amazing. Your energy is amazing, and I know you've been through a lot.
Thank you.
And you know what? When we talk about getting caught up in the streets, whether it's jail time, whether it's dealing with drugs, dealing with the wrong people, I've been caught up in my own way. I didn't do the jail time, but I definitely was hanging out way too much. My nose was always stuffy. I tell you that much. I was naughty. You know what I'm saying? I was a naughty guy. And for my people who don't think this was a naughty nose, it's a very naughty nose. It's a naughty nose. But I pulled it together too, and that's the thing. Like, there's always room for a new beginning. So when I see you, I always see that's like, that motherfucker, it defines that, like, it's a new beginning and making things happen. So I appreciate you coming out for that reason and being able to be like the symbol of that. So if you don't mind, I want to know, like, what was it? Where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Yorkville, right, which is the Upper East Side, but it's very Yorkville and the Upper East Side are two different animals.
That's considered Harlem?
You know what I mean? No. So Yorkville is like between 86 and 96 east. Okay. But in the 70s and 80s, Yorkville was very different from what is now the Upper East Side. Right. You know what I mean?
God, was just like the Lower East Side. That's where I'm from.
Exactly. You know. So yeah, I grew up in that area. You know, and kind of gravitated to it. Sorry.
It's probably fine, but I'm just, you know, I want to make sure.
Yeah,
it's
I know. You already let me know. You know.
Don't touch the glass. Just keep your hands by your side. I don't trust you.
You got it. So, you know, I gravitated toward Spanish Harlem, etc. And you know, just I got involved in things really early. You know, really young.
Now, what was it? What would you say? And once again, like, you could be an open book. If there's something that you don't care to share, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? We'll move on. But I know, when I got into like using, I always thought it was like recreation. Like the first time I did blow, I was like, oh, this is fun. But I realized I was introduced to drugs at an early age. It was, you know, it was always accessible. Not like in my home, but I saw my father deal blow, like right in front of me. Right. And at the age of 5, and I remember he was dealing it, and I wanted this in my finger when he was done against the cabinet.
Yeah, and why would I do that? I was curious. But also, how do I know to do this? So I probably seen it somewhere else.
He was watching it.
So like there's something that in the memory bank and then other things that not. But I do remember that specifically. You know what I'm saying? And then for years after that I was curious about it. I was like, yo, I want to try that shit.
And then you did.
Was there like a moment, right? And then I did. You know what I'm saying? And all types of places, Starbucks bathrooms. You know?
Yeah.
I know you have a funny story you want to share. But you know, it's funny because was that your shit? Was blow your shit?
I mean the stories, I always share the stories, you know what I mean? And the stories are funny. Like, for me, they're funny. For you, they're funny, right? Yeah. But like general population,
fuck them. They gotta deal with it.
General population, they're like mortified. You know what I mean?
When I do stand-ups, I open up sometimes with a coke bit.
Yeah.
And it's like people go like this. Yeah. I'm like, that's my shit. Don't make fun of it. I conquer this. Take a long, open up and walk with us.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Or not.
Oh no, walk to the bathroom, take a hit, then you feel better about yourself, and then you can be able to identify.
It's rough, man. No. So for me,
so going back to that question, what was it like a time where you felt like you were introduced to some
I was
like drugs?
No, I was 13. I was 13.
Young,
and it was crack and it was heroin.
It was straight up crack. It wasn't even like an evolution to it.
No. Well, I would say around 12 there was some dust.
Dust is an interesting drug.
Dust is a thing you don't even see or hear about anymore. Right.
What Denzel said, butt naked in Training Day. I got that butt naked. You remember that movie, Training Day?
Yo, he had you ever get your shit pushed in?
You ever had your shit pushed in big? Yeah, that shit was scary. My asshole tightened up in that point. I was like, yo, put this shit on pause. That was crazy. Like, that was like some gangster shit he was talking about. So do you remember like the first time you got high?
Yeah, I do. I remember the first time
Yo, it ain't a dick, motherfucker. Stop pushing the away.
It's too fucking close, bro.
He's like, yo, get that. I don't like anything that resemble a dick in my
But here's
face.
the funny shit, right? It's like I'll tell you what I'm gonna tell you, whatever, and you already have an idea. Like, who the fuck ever would have thought that I would be sitting in front of anybody's microphone, unless it was in a courtroom? You know what I mean? Like it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's about transformation.
It is,
you know?
and once again, going back to energy, and like that's what I gathered from you. Like, and I'm not talking about just the first time I met you. Even most recently, when I saw you with Chris Jr., your son, who I trained a little bit, who recently, shout out to Chris Jr., had his first amateur fight, did his fucking thing.
Yeah, man.
People in the gym are talking about it. He's a beast. Yeah. But I do want to talk a little bit more. And you know about like I want be gritty with it. Like the first time you got, and what if you could target down, what was the sentiment behind? Do you remember?
I just I don't know what it is. There's a hole. I've always felt there was a hole. I didn't fit in. I didn't belong. I was insecure. I was afraid of people. I was afraid of grown-ups. I was afraid of kids. Whatever. And then somebody was like, "Yo, here. Hit this." And we was in the staircase in the projects. Yeah. It was like, yo, hit this. And I hit it.
It was dust.
And I hit it. No, I'm talking about crack.
Oh, wow.
Never mind the dust. That was lightweight shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I hit it. And I remember blowing it out. And like, I'm talking about like how my grandma just passed away and how I'm failing algebra. Free.
Was it that?
Yeah, it was like a release. Like I wasn't talking to anybody about how my grandma just died or how I was failing algebra.
Right.
These were the things these were my fears, and now I could like say it out loud.
And it's like, ba, right? It's like no inhibitions.
Yeah. But
it's amazing.
That's the beginning,
yeah,
right?
That's
and
the
that
beginning.
shit, and now we talking about crack, right?
Right.
So that shit lasts for about a week,
right.
And the next thing you know, you're stealing from your parents.
Yeah. Do you feel like it happened quickly, or were you able to like undercover, or did it feel like a snowball quick?
I did undercover for about 2 months. That's all it lasted. I was a kid, man. I was a little kid. The supervision wasn't super tight, but there was stuff, and like I said, the first thing before I learned how to rob and steal in the street, I stole from my family.
Yeah.
And my father was involved in some things, and there was always a lot of cash and sandwich bags full of jewelry around the house, and so that's where I started. And then one day at the end of the summer, Pops was like, "Yo, listen, man, I'm missing this like an inventory.
Yeah,
I'm missing this, and
That's
this.
Gotta be some scary shit.
What are you doing?" And yeah, because this dude was a killer. You know what I mean? So I was terrified. And I was so naive to like, you know, I believe addiction and alcoholism is a disease, right? That's my belief. And I was so naive to my disease and how cunning it can be. I didn't even think to lie to him. I didn't even think to say, hey, I'm smoking weed or having a few beers and I don't know where your money's at. I just came out and told him that I was smoking crack. And he said, crack? He said, here, bang, and he cracked me in the jaw and I went down.
Wow.
Yeah, and
you know, like your response, that's not the wrong response. Like you're being honest, and then you get like that. That was the response you got, which is wild. Someone else would have probably, you know, you deserve the motherfucking hug.
I mean, I'll tell you how I hugged my kid, and we could get into that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
And that's the evolution. Because you love fucking Chris Jr. Like the love,
dogs.
Like you love him. It's not like a job for you. That's your fucking. I can see it, man. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
I see it, and that's man. That's a beautiful
this is
thing.
Comedy, right? Don't make me cry,
no, man. We talking. No, we're talking. We'll get into the repercussions and the funny shit of the, you know. But this is real shit.
Yeah. This is.
You know? But yo, so what he called you with the right hands? Yeah,
That's
Joe?
what
You didn't even
happens,
block.
right?
You just ate
get
it.
an opportunity to break those cycles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's what,
if you get a minute of grace, man, and you can like grab onto it and trust and change some stuff, then you can like break the chains.
That's human responsibility.
You know what I mean? I believe that as well. I believe that I don't, you know, I know there's a format here and I know you're in charge, but for me in the moment, and since the moment you asked me and you asking me, I'm honored.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever I'm doing in the world,
I'm kind of a big deal. Look at the kind of water I drink.
I know,
Essential.
and a big one
I went
too.
from quarter waters to essential. I'm stepping it up in my life. I can't even afford this shit. I got like quarter water money, but essential taste buds.
Good man.
You don't know about this, baby. You gotta get your money up right to afford this shit.
I mean, you could get a big one in Costco for like $20, a whole box.
You fuck with Costco?
I do fuck with Costco.
Damn, you changed, man.
I get the wee-wee pads at Costco.
You changed, bro.
Yeah.
You used to be a Latin king from fucking Yorkville.
Talk about blowing shit up. Damn. Nah.
Trinitario, some shit. Yo, listen, I saw the picture.
I know you did. I'm an open book, man. Listen, you can't serve two masters.
Yeah.
So here I am, you know, and I think that you asked me, and no matter what I do in my life, I think that if I have an opportunity to sit here and make jokes with you, maybe somebody can get from me, yo, this dude was like a scumbag. This dude did the worst shit, and look at his life now. Maybe there's a positive message in that, and that's my responsibility as a human being,
absolutely,
to share that message, you know.
Hold tight, motherfucker stepping on my podcast.
We're talking to the mic, Pop.
This fucking mic.
You got talking to the mic. That's how we do it here.
Talk to the fucking mic. I mean, the mic doesn't pick me up from here.
You always talk like you whispering, like you're making a sale. You're like, yo.
Listen. I haven't made a sale in a minute. Thank you, God.
Yo, there's some mannerisms you can't shake off. Yo, but I love the fact, Chris, that you wore your whitest wife beater.
You know what?
Like I can tell you go into your closet and they're all white beaters. You're like, you know what? I'm doing the Dirtbag Shit podcast. Let me get the Calvin Klein jump.
I was looking for a joint with the pit stains. I don't have any
armpit stains.
Nah,
if you're doing the Dirtbag podcast,
I don't do pit stains no more, bro.
You gotta come through with the yellow armpit stains with a little cigarette burn hole.
Excuse me,
middle.
wait. Just. This is a tank top. This is a
nice
tank
one
top.
too.
This is not a wife beater.
I know.
You can't even say that.
I know. It's like some G Unit early 2000 tank top.
It's not too tight, is it?
Yo, this dude, as gangsta as he comes across, he was like, yo, what should I wear for this shit? My dude.
I did. I said.
He was about to come in this suit.
I could have did that. I clean up now. You know what I mean? I clean up.
So, okay. Now we gotta share some dirtbag shit because we hit that sentimental shit. You almost made me cry with the fucking look that you gave me when you discuss or when you express the love for your baby boy. He's a great kid. He's gonna be a great fighter. Like everyone at the gym was talking about how he got hard. Hey, baby girl. That's my daughter. She can do that.
Listen, man. You know, we all got our shit, right? And that's how he ended up with you.
Yeah.
And you helped him and you showed him something, and he carried forth with it. And it blew my mind to find out that his trainer was Don Saxby, right? Who trained you.
Yeah, that's funny,
right?
because so I became, and I wasn't like, I held pads for him. I don't want to be too generous to say I was his trainer, but I did train him.
You trained him.
With
You
the
trained him. Nah,
resources.
be generous. Be generous.
So
you
I
trained him. You lit a fire.
Yeah. And he was interested. I started training Chris Jr. at the Monterey Gym. We had a heavy bag. We had some pads. And he was just like, an eager kid. He was out of shape. He ain't the shape he was now. He got like a six-pack.
He was a wash back then.
I'm telling you, he was a sweet kid. And I knew he wanted to learn it. So it's so funny, right? And then we parted ways. I eventually left that gym, but then years later, I come to find out Chris Jr. is training with Don Saxby, who's a staple in the New York boxing scene. He trains out of Gleason Gym, and he was my first trainer. Yeah. And we were talking about signs, how things all go full circle, and that's very interesting.
Dude,
to me.
I've bumped into you in the street. If you keep turning this thing at me,
dogs.
I'm speaking loud enough. It's going in.
I don't know if I'm satisfied.
Trust the process.
I don't know if I'm satisfied with the way you are.
All right. I hope they can hear it. If not, we're gonna have to do the whole shit again. Listen. I bumped into you in front of the comedy club, right? I bumped into you down here. I work down here now with some of these buildings, and I see you, and I'm like, damn, man, it's good to see this dude. Right. Like you're there. Yeah. Every time something's going on with the kid, I'm like, yo, text Sergio, tell him what's happening.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, and then I come here to ring your bell, and the bell next to your bell is Purdy.
I know.
And that's my mom's name. It's like, come on, man. If I'm supposed to be anywhere today, I know I'm supposed to be right here.
It's a setup. Your mom is upstairs. She wants her money that you stole from her. It's a setup. Go upstairs. Go to your room. So, do you get bored? Like,
I get anxiety from all these snakes, though. I see me scratching.
Why you scratching? I don't got no bed bugs here. Let me ask you something. So now
I used to be like this, scratching.
Like that?
That quinine. Not today, thank God.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. Do you get bored? Like, nowadays sober, do you get bored?
Do I look like I get bored?
I don't know. Right now you don't look like you're bored. You look like you're having a good time. But do you get bored? Do you feel sometimes you find it hard to fill in those gaps?
Nah.
Oh, you're too grateful, man.
That's key. That's the key. That's the key for me.
You got a lot of shit.
Listen, man.
You're filling in the board time with positive shit.
Listen, man.
Well, good shit.
Like, I don't know anything about fear. I don't know anything about any of that shit, right? I don't know about if the universe is just and all that. I know that gratitude is the most important thing I got going, man. Because by all intents and purposes,
right,
I should be buried under the fucking jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whatever I'm doing, if I'm bored, it's because I'm boring.
Yeah.
If I can't have a good time without a drink or without smoking some weed, it's because I'm boring.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the thing, man. There's too much shit to do. Like, there's so much good shit out here. And I think that happens with guys like us. Like, when I first stopped drinking or whatever, I remember feeling mad anxious. I was still doing, I never stopped doing stand-up, but I would go do stand-up. And I remember, I was like, my boy Yanis was fucking headlining the whole weekend, right? And I was a shell of myself because I was like newly sober. I was like in the green room like this. Like, and I felt mad robotic. I was like, yo, I feel mad unnatural. And it took like 8 months to a year to like feel like, I got this. Like I feel, but when I was drinking, I would go out to the crowd and I felt loose or whatever. But and then I would get like bored. It was like dips of things. I didn't know how to fill in the spots. I felt mad inadequate. Did you find the same thing? Or you were forced to get sober because of the?
I mean, no, I was not.
Were you getting bent in jail?
I was not. I was never forced to get sober. I didn't know how to get sober.
Were you getting bent in jail? Were you able to gain access to that shit?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. There's times I got more high in jail than I could in the street.
That's crazy.
I couldn't make no fucking money.
And I feel like I see that shit and I hear about it, but I'm like, damn, motherfuckers really boof it. going to jail and
You got
like
jokes.
no, but that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, someone would bring that
Well,
in.
no, I mean, you don't
Not
necessarily
you.
have to boof it and then
But
go
that's
to
the
court
fun, yeah.
and get in, like, because your girl is going to come visit you. She's going to bring it in anyway.
Yeah.
And then she's going to pull it out of her ass. You're going to put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
You know, maybe keep it right here in your
Yeah.
throat.
Make sure you talk to him because I don't
Make
want
sure
to. I don't want
talk to the fucking mic. As we talking about boofing shit, he wants me to talk into the mic.
Yo, 10 years. What prison was it?
No, listen, it wasn't so just I don't want to misrepresent myself. It was more like 17 years. But it wasn't like it's not consecutive.
Gotcha.
It's like it was kind of like life on the installment plan.
Got you.
I just see. So that's the thing. Like I didn't like nothing made me get sober. I didn't have to get sober. Like a moment came. Just like a light just went on.
Right.
Actually, it was a person, another person. So I had been through all these things and done all these things. I had been homeless. I had spent years and years in prison. I had, I had been shot, stabbed, poisoned, arrived dead in hospitals 4 times. Yeah. So
that's like, how the fuck? May I?
Absolutely.
I heard my mom get shot, but like poison, that's like such a like a premeditated like I'm a
hot shot. Hot shot. Yeah,
What is
that was for me. You know what I mean? He gave it to me, and I shot
was this
it.
in prison?
No, this is in the projects up on First Avenue.
Wow.
Yeah, so I shot the shit, and I mean, I remember my face went on fire, my hands went on fire, the palms of my hands went on fire, the bottom of my feet went on fire, and I was living with a chick, and I couldn't speak, my throat closed up, and I would, I felt like I was trying to speak and no words would come out.
Oh my God.
She got me downstairs, she got me out into the street. By the time she got me out into the street, I couldn't walk. My kidneys had shut down.
Like
I had
immediately?
Shit myself, shit coming out of my mouth, all kinds of shit. Ambulance just happened to be going down the street. She flagged them down. They stopped. I'm laying in the middle of First Avenue, shit coming out of my mouth. My body just was shutting down. I was in so much pain. I mean, I've been in some pain, but this was the most excruciating pain I had ever felt. In my brain, I like to think that the way I envision it is like King Kong. King Kong when he climbed the Empire State Building, right? King Kong had me by the waist and he was crushing me. And I couldn't use my legs and no words would come out. And the shit kept coming out of my mouth.
Oh my God.
And I was choking and it was flying. And the EMT guy was like, listen, man, I was like, let me die. I was in so much pain, I just wanted to die. Like not just physical pain, I had been in fucking spiritual and emotional pain for so long. I was just so miserable. I wanted him to let me die. He was like, nah, man, not on my watch. And I coughed and the shit flew out.
Overachievers.
And he said, but if you spit that shit on me one more time, I might let you die. Right? And this is how sick this addiction shit is, right? They got me to Metropolitan Hospital. I was dead on arrival. This is the 4th time I had arrived.
Every time you hear about that, like people dead on arrival, like that shit really happened.
Done,
Crazy.
gone, finished,
Wow.
right? So they intubated me and they put the tube in my throat. Somehow they revived me. They brought me back to life. And they had me, restrained on a gurney and bed, whatever. They pulled the tube. They took the tube out of my throat. They took the restraints off of me, and I left the hospital in a paper gown and booties to go cop.
Wow.
All right?
And that's how strong.
So that's how strong. My man, I got shot in the face on the boardwalk in Coney Island in '94.
Coney Island?
They moved me. The gang hit. They moved me to Staten Island, to Bailey Seaton. We like to call it Bailey Breathing.
Right.
Day and a half later, my head was the size of a basketball. March of 1994, cold as fuck. I'm on a Staten Island ferry in a paper gown and booties on my way to Harlem to go cop. Right?
Oh.
Like on some thought I was indestructible, didn't want to do anything but get high against shit.
Yeah.
And then one day somebody said to me, if you get sober, you could have a really beautiful life.
Yeah.
And the fucking light went off. All this shit I had done.
Who was that person? Do you remember?
Just some rando.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Because I'm always interested, like, in the midst of all this shit, what happens? And granted, like, I mean, I remember one time, and like, it's very different, but it's addiction, right? We're talking about like getting high when things become unmanageable and you feel like your spirit's broken. And there was one time I was home, and Charlie, my daughter, was like young, maybe a few months, and I looked at it and I was hungover, man. I didn't want to deal with anything, and the sunlight was coming into the room, And I remember seeing my daughter in the in the crib, and she was crying through the bars. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't want to deal with this shit. And that, like, to feel that way about my daughter, I was like, I need to clean up my act. How dare I not want to deal with that? Like, and it was very like, I don't want to deal. And I was so disgusted with myself. That was one of the many times I was disgusted. But I remember that really, like, that's you can't even compare that to what, but there's these lights, right? It's like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, but holy shit.
It's different degrees, I think.
But your story's cooler, man.
That's all right. Try not to compare.
Yeah, that'd be being a dirtbag. That'd be being, can I borrow that story?
Don't try to claim my fame, bro.
Fuck, man. Holy crap. Now I decide to get politically correct. Holy crap. Where the fuck that came from? Holy crap. Next up, holy shit. Bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's not unique either,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, no. I mean, I had a friend who is, and he got like 7 years clean. This dude was shot up with a 22. That's a small ass gun, like mad times on the torso. You know what I'm saying? And he lived. Like, got shot all up. And he, as soon as he came out the hospital, it's everything. It's like they cut him open.
Yeah.
Holding his, and he was like, I'm gonna get clean. No more. As soon as he came out.
Right
back at. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's like someone said you can do whatever you want with life. But sometimes it's a collection of all those different things. So when I looked in the crib, that was the one that I really remember. But it's a number of different things. With you, it was a number of different situations.
It takes what it takes. I hear people say, they got clean or they got sober when the acceptable became unacceptable. They felt that. Like the things that they said they would never have done, they started doing those things, and then they were like, I need to stop. Right. I don't feel that it was like that for me. I feel like, because for me, anything was acceptable. In my mind, I was going to die in prison or somebody was going to kill me in the street. That was it. It was a done deal. Yeah. That was the only way I was living. That was the only way I knew how to live. And then one day it was like, this, these things that I'm accepting, I don't want to accept anymore.
Right.
And there's a different way, there's a better way. Right. Maybe give it a try. And I gave it, you said something before about leaving, your tooth, your veneer. And it's funny because none of these are mine.
Let me see.
I would pull them out, but it's camera.
They look good, right?
They look good.
Pull them shits out. Oh yeah, they motherfuckers come out.
All top and bottom, they come out. But you want to smoke crack.
That's a good fake rap.
You want to smoke crack and shoot heroin and get shot in the face. You gotta sacrifice your teeth.
Yeah,
what I mean?
They look good though.
Thanks.
They don't look like.
That was a moment of serious vulnerability for me. Right there.
Fuck, that's what we do. That's strength.
Exactly.
Man. You're crazy, like motherfuckers.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, listen, what your son is doing. It's a super warrior sin. I'm not talking about the macho-ness of putting on guns and boxing. The fact that, at any given, all these motherfuckers lose, you get punched in your face, like your son is boxing, he's leaving himself vulnerable too. But that's a beautiful thing because that could be applied in other areas of your life. Should he take boxing to like on a pro level or whatever, like what you learn when you leave yourself vulnerable and just give you your all, it's so much more. It's so much more important than being closed and like, protect, it's all, no one's exempt from being embarrassed, humiliated. No one's better than anyone. We all deal with the same old shit. It's all fucking nonsense. It really is.
I just had a conversation.
But I drink essential water. I'm better than all y'all motherfuckers.
You do.
Where's my essential water?
I don't know, but I wish you would pour some in my cup.
Let's get this guy some water. You want some water?
Please.
That's how we do. We do breaks in the middle of this.
You can always edit it, right?
So, this is going. I like this, bro. What? I know. Yeah. Should I get you on it? Yeah.
You sick, Chris? You sick? What you got? Stay over there, man. We already dapped and all that shit. He ain't give me a heads up or nothing. He's like, here, take this. Take this home with you. Yo, Sergio, if I get sick, man, I gotta take off work. That shit is on you, bro. You gonna pay for those days.
You got sick, Bob.
Chris is sick.
Yo, dude. All the shit you've been through, you're indestructible.
No, you know what?
Yo, let's get back on this shit. Yo, you hear this guy? This is what happens. He's like, if I get a cold, a common cold, this motherfucker done been shot up, stabbed up, poisoned. That's gangster shit. That's crazy shit, man.
You don't hear a lot of motherfuckers say they got poisoned, right? It just dawned on me.
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm
don't
saying.
hear a lot of motherfuckers say I got a hot
Poison.
shot and came back from that.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely
You're so
like
close, bro.
Yo, dog, this guy, man, listen. He's so
Trauma.
close.
My therapist stops me in the middle of my shit.
So,
What?
Honestly, all jokes aside, is this close to like does it bother you?
Listen, you know how many times when
Answer the
you and I
question.
no wait not anymore
So on the train,
like
you don't
now,
fuck with trains.
I do. I'm on the train. I'm on a train a bunch of times a day. I'm okay now. A lot of settings where I wasn't okay for a while, I'm okay now. Like I can hug you right now and hold it for like 20 seconds because I know you need to release that oxytocin so that you can trust me and shit like that. We need that, human beings.
Right.
When you and I met, I can't tell you how many times I almost knocked my kid out. I would be sitting in front of TV.
Say me. I got nervous. I was like, yo.
Nah, I would be sitting. You might be. I mean, you're a boxer. I might not want to fight you at all. I might have to.
Yo, but you motherfucking Chris is.
But I do have an ice pick with your name on it. I do. But I'd be sitting in front of the TV, just chilling, watching TV, and my son, who I hadn't been around for a couple of years, would creep up behind me and just throw his arms around me and hug me, or kiss me on my head, and I would like instinctually yeah, man, it was fucked up. It was. I mean, it's not fucked up. It's natural. It's not. Listen, it's. This shit is not about me, but this is what I'll say, right? Like, I bump into people from time to time who haven't seen me for years, right? Now, and I mean, in the 90s, I did 20 months in the box.
Damn.
Alone,
So,
right? Push-ups and Donald Goines.
Wait. So Donald Goines is an author. I love those.
Some
those
Sidney
books.
Sheldon too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Sheldon, yeah.
You love those books, right?
Yeah, that's why. Like a couple of they're fun. They're fun.
It's
They're books.
dirtbag.
Wait, the Donald Goines and push-ups. Now, for my people.
Wait. For which people?
My people, Mike and Chris. Well, we're gonna bump this up. There's gonna be some people. No, the box. Explain to like the box is like not a regular pen. You're like
along with my experience.
How big is that shit? Like 8 by 10?
It's a little. I mean, it's not much bigger than the. I mean, it's much smaller than the.
You can psychosis, man.
I mean, listen. You're just alone, man. You're alone. So what I was getting at, what I was saying is that you could look at me, right? Shit been opened up a few times, blunt force trauma, all that stuff. When people see me now and we have a conversation, or I haven't seen you in so long, I thought you were dead, or I thought you were still locked up.
Wow.
And it's like, they're amazed at the fact that I can like put together a complete sentence.
Right.
So where was I going with this? I don't really remember. You had asked me something.
I think the sentiment, well, at least I've got from it, it's amazing how durable human beings can be. But also, like, what our true calling is, and it's to be here for your kid. And and sharing the story is one huge thing, but there's a lot of other things, I'm sure. But that was inspired by the fact that you said there was some shakiness, like
That's what we were saying, and I was saying that like I go to therapy, I see a therapist, no shame in it, you know what I mean.
Now, did you find when you sought out a therapist that you had to find one who was compatible with you? Did you go through a few of them? Like with therapy?
You know what I did? I in the beginning when I first started, I was going to an organization called the Fortune Society, which is for ex-offenders.
Yeah.
They have me with a guy, and I was in early sobriety, and the guy was just planting seeds. You're not a piece of shit. You are a good guy. You are a good father. You can do this. You can do that. You do show up for your people. And after about a year, he left. And I felt like I was good. I didn't need it anymore. And so I just recently returned this year, because I've been in some relationships.
Yeah.
This month is 6 years sober for me.
Wow.
So I've been in a few relationships, and I recognize a pattern, for whatever. I think I'm a phenomenal person. I'm a kind, loving human being. But I got shit with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it seems like my relationships, not my friendships, I mean, they're all relationships, right?
Yeah.
But my romantic relationships don't seem to pass the 6-month mark. So I
Let me hold that thought, but I'm interested in knowing, and like people who, when you get like fucking high, like you do everything. A lot of times you do like it's recreation, right? For some people, whatever. But a lot of times the intimacy you have with someone is done under the influence. Did you find like going there? Because I remember like. My wife is right in the next room and my daughter, but I have to share this. I remember like getting sober and like that would be difficult for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't.
Well,
you talking about
I feel like you're talking about physical intimacy.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And I felt like I needed to get high at one point.
Well, for me,
I was like, holy shit, how do you do this sober?
yeah, it was definitely it was a thing for me because I was shooting dope before I was fucking.
Wow.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a whole...
And so I learned how to fuck on the dope dick. Right. And so there comes all this macho shit with that, right? Where you need to be able to perform. And when you go to prison and you start talking to guys about, what you're gonna do when you get out or what you used to do with your old lady and shit like that, there's a certain way you feel like you need to perform, right? And when you're not under the influence of opiates, you don't necessarily perform that way. I can't go for 3 hours unless I got some shit in my system.
You're thinking. I remember like just overthinking it, and I feel like
and then you can't do anything.
Right. Baby girl, like sometimes I was like a pimp from the sun, like, hey baby girl, you're gonna sit your ass right there. We're gonna crack this open.
Yeah.
Like, somebody
it doesn't always work out that way.
At least I thought it was.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it became hi, my name is Sergio.
Yeah. Insecure. Yeah.
And then like come on.
And then overthinking that shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's been a process, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Yeah. It's been and like I said,
what do you think is the pattern? What do you think? It's always gonna be worse.
Oh, it's the I'm a bit of a runner.
So like
right. So my style is like come here or go away.
Yeah.
Right. So I but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Like once like the big gift. I'm glad I hope I don't break no shit. A big gift, the biggest. I mean, one of the biggest gifts of this process for me is like self-awareness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like when I was doing all the wrong things, I wasn't doing nothing wrong. You know what I mean? And today I can say, oh well, this is a thing. This is a thing. I need to take a look at this, try to change it.
Well, how do you
put some effort into it, take an action?
Yo, how do you So, like you're in a relationship, you hit the 6-month mark. How do you move on? Like, how do you? Maybe you ain't that interested.
Maybe it's just not the right thing. Yeah. The right thing hasn't happened. So here's the other fucked up thing, right?
Boy, you after 6 months, they start running out of shit.
It's probably, you know what I mean? Once you overthink shit, then you start to make it about you, right?
Yeah, right.
But I mean, another thing for me, another issue that I noticed has been, I'm 48 years old, and
well, I looked up your birth certificate. It says you're 54.
Yeah. You would like to think. I would like to think that. I don't feel. I mean, not to say that I'm supposed to know what someone who's almost 50 feels like.
Right.
But I'm somewhat immature.
Yeah.
I don't think I look my age.
Yeah.
I don't feel
if you're fishing
like
for a compliment, you ain't gonna get it from
No. But what I'm saying is because of this for me, right? Because of this for me, this is real shit. And because of the fact that I was out of the loop for so long,
right?
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I had my son. I was in some relationships when I was getting high too. Most of them would turn out to be like, I would go away, I would do some time, I clean up real nice. Inside, outside, whatever, and somebody would hook me up with their sister. I would have a pen pal.
Yeah.
By the time I made parole, she'd be like, "Oh, why don't you move in?" Yeah. And I'd go move in, and then I'd get high, and 2 weeks later, she'd be like, "This motherfucker's crazy. Get him out of here."
Your pen game must be nice. You probably know how to break them down because you got all that time, and you write some poetry.
Pearls of love, daddy. Pearls of love. Right? Game like shit that you won't do now.
Like this, like that, but. Yes, daddy's home. Pen pals.
Yeah, you're a really funny guy, but you keep distracting me from what I'm trying to say, man.
My bad. I'm very. It's ADD.
Yeah, I got it too. So it's like we're like what the fuck was I just saying, bro?
You're pen paling.
No. I need you to take me back. Edit all this shit, but I need you to take me back right before that.
So you were pen paling and produce some shit, Chris. Where was he at? What do you think he was getting at with that shit?
What was I saying before I went to the pen pal thing?
It was therapy.
Damn, man, I had a point to make and I can't remember what the fuck it was.
6 months.
Yeah, it was 6 months. You said that it's 6 month mark, and then it was you were pen pal.
I don't know, man. I forgot.
Yo, so fuck that.
Rewind that shit.
Nah, it's okay. It's probably you probably
It was some important shit too.
Nah.
It was a good point.
Yo, so let me ask you something. You were telling me some funny shit about, because the thing is, like, when you're out like that, like, it's some crazy, like, ridiculous shit that we find. Is there anything that you go, like the Starbucks story? You want to share that one?
Oh no! Well, you know what? I will share it, but I'll even share how we got there.
I thought it was funny
because I came here and I needed to use the bathroom. And you let me use your bathroom.
Why wouldn't I?
But no. The better shit is it.
Nah, you just do my podcast. You can't use the bathroom. You better act like you're in a minivan and pee in an Avion bottle. What the fuck? Like, what kind
I used to do that shit. I used to do that shit. I was never in a minivan, but I used to do that shit because I didn't want whoever was on the other side of the door to know how fucked up I was. I just stay in the room and pee out the window or some shit.
I owned a minivan as a kid. I thought I was the hottest shit on the block. I had a Sienna. The doors were open with a button. And I had a turtleneck, a sleeveless turtleneck in the early 90s.
Talking about buttons. Talking about buttons. So that's the whole thing. I asked to use the bathroom. You told me I could use the bathroom. I just went in there to take a leak. And this motherfucker got like a $5,000 bidet on his toilet with buttons all over it.
Yeah.
So I felt like I needed to stay in there and clean my ass.
The bidet changed my life, dogs. And I recommend, you've been through some shit in your life, get a bidet.
I should have a bidet.
Yo, treat yourself to a bidet. It's only $200.
Oh, I know what the fuck I was saying.
Now we talk about my bidet. The bidet, yo, I'm gonna say, you wanna leave yourself vulnerable? Sometimes I use the bidet and I didn't even take a shit. I just use the bidet and be like, oh, this shit feels good. So, that's me being vulnerable. I like water splashing my asshole. And you can change the temperature.
This is a good show. This is a good show.
Come on,
he
dog.
just said he like water splashing his asshole. We should have got dirty early.
No, you gotta work up to it. We gotta work up to it. You know what I'm saying? So, tell me that Starbucks story.
So I'm gonna tell you the Starbucks story, but real quick, right? Give me like 45 seconds. The thing that I was saying was because I was in some toxic shit while I was using, and I spent so much time away, and I don't feel like I've sown my oats and things like that. For some reason, I tend to go after women that are much younger than me because I don't feel that I should be with a 40 or 50 or 30.
This guy's arrogant.
Yeah. No, I don't mean it in an arrogant way. I just mean that, it's been pointed out to me recently that I should probably look for a serious relationship with a woman who is more age appropriate for me as opposed to like a 26-year-old. So that could also, because you were mentioning like why can't I pass the 6 month mark?
Yeah.
Maybe
so they're mostly younger.
Yeah, and plus I'll come in, like we'll go on a date and I'll be like,
20,
listen,
25?
so let me tell you how my father stuck a pistol in my mouth when I was 14 years old, and then let me tell you how many years I spent in the joint and all this other
like
shit.
this on the phone.
That's a wrap. Yeah, right.
Can we order some?
It's
some popcorn shit? Because this is the type of motherfucker that takes his girls to Sandbox. Sammy's. We know, anybody that goes to City Island on a date.
But I'm not driving. We gotta take a train and a bus.
You're a City Island, motherfucker.
I love me some City Island.
Yeah, I went to Sammy's, and I wasn't impressed, man. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I went with my son. I took my son.
That shit had me.
Actually, the young lady I was dating took me and my son.
Oh, dope.
But it didn't work out. I'm not the relationship to Sammy's.
Yo, so you gotta get your viejita.
So one time I was in I don't want me a viejita. But anyway, one time I went to the bathroom in Starbucks.
Thank you.
Actually, you know what? That's a lie. It wasn't even Starbucks. It was Timothy's Coffee. which was a long time ago, right over there by the Monterey.
Closer.
Talk a little closer. I'm sorry. I hope y'all can hear me.
Because then it's an issue. Then you're gonna be back here.
Oh, fuck.
And you may not want to
Why are you doing that, though?
I like that.
See that dirtbag shit he just did?
Yeah, so the sniff punctuates like me making a point. Like, you having a good time?
I'm saying.
That's like construction worker shit. You know what I'm saying? Like construction worker told like, hey, yo, what kind of brick is that? It's good New York City brick.
It is good brick. It looks like it fell off a truck, except it's a veneer.
That. Oh man, I really had a real fucking good time, man. And like that's the thing with the Dirtbag Shit show. It's not only about dirtbag shit. As you can see,
yeah,
we are two individuals that truly care about each other as friends because we're willing to exchange this energy, but also like share the story, man. And nothing has to be like this heavy all the time. Like we're fucking interjecting points, throwing out stories, and he's gonna. And the fact of the matter is, he's gonna leave here and feel good about himself. He's gonna think this podcast is on and popping.
Oh, this is for me.
Meanwhile, the only person that's listening is my mother, and she's gonna be disappointed with me. So before we go, you gotta tell me that Starbucks story.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it might not be. Listen, man.
Story.
Yeah, well, we're talking about using the bathroom in Starbucks. So
Because
it wasn't in the Starbucks. It was at Timothy's.
Because motherfuckers, I love to use the bathroom. I used to like to use the bathroom with a good lock, right? You want the good lock. I never trusted button locks. Button locks, I'd be like, oh shit, man.
No, you want a deadbolt.
Yeah,
You want a deadbolt. Yeah.
I
So
want
they can't
a
come
good
in.
lock.
Damn,
I want a good lock. I want my own. When I was in the bathroom, I wanted a handicap stall. I wanted my space. You know what I'm saying? I wanted
to lay everything out.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So Starbucks is always a good bathroom because they're readily available.
I spent a lot of time in the bathrooms, man. Talking to the fucking mic. There's 8 million stories in the naked city. I got a couple hundred of them in the bathroom.
Unless there's another story that you want to share, but we need a Dirtbag Shit story. This is a stamp with the DBS story. Anyone, Bob?
I don't know. I was in the bathroom in the coffee shop. I locked myself in, and I was doing the things that I like to do, and so when you're in the joint, right, your toilet paper, they give you a roll of toilet paper to last you a week or whatever.
It's like Cuba. It's like a ration system.
Right. So what happened, at least with me, is that I get into a habit of you take the toilet paper, you hold the toilet paper, and you unravel it like that, right, and then you stick it like in your boxes. Right? In your drawers, like a wad of toilet paper, right? For that first wipe, right?
Okay.
And so in the bathroom, in the joint, I mean in the coffee shop, I do my thing. I'm starting to feel nice, little nod coming on.
Right.
The toilet paper was off the roll. I wadded it up. I stuck it in my drawers, and I'm smoking a cigarette in the bathroom in the coffee shop, Newport 100, and I'm feeling good, right? I'm nodding now, right? And the next thing I know, there's flames in my face.
Holy shit.
And I can smell my eyebrows. I had hair back then, right? This is the 90s. I can smell my eyebrows burnt, right? And there's flames coming out of my boxes. So the cigarette had fallen into the toilet paper and created some flames. And I mean, that would be my dirt bag.
Oh, wait, time out. So you got some like Richard Pryor shit going. Did you run out the bathroom in flames? Or you were able to get it out?
Nah, I put it in.
You walked out the bathroom. Everything good.
Yeah, everything was good. Everything was good. There was a line outside the bathroom.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, to us, yeah.
Fuck, man. I'm glad you're okay, man. And once again, I appreciate your energy. I appreciate you coming out. You're the fucking man. Yo, he's a first guest on the DBS podcast. I appreciate you,
Yo,
brother.
I wish you so much success.
Oh, man. I'm really successful. I feel good. You're successful, too, man. I'm really happy for Chris Jr. Once again, shout out to Chris Jr. who went the full bout. We dropped the decision, right?
So yeah, it was a decision.
And that's fine, man. But from what the word in the street in the boxing gyms, that Chris Jr. did his motherfucking thing. Yeah, man, I'm happy for him. I'm gonna hit him
I
up.
hope I came here and did my motherfucking thing.
You
Never
did your
mind
thing,
Chris
man.
Jr.
It was a
My
great
thing.
time. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, that is our first app. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're gonna keep it funky. We're gonna keep it moving. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.